Question: how much do you think it cost me to make the crumb cake behind me? This is my cake. Let me move this over and you can get a better look. Give you a minute to think about it, and I'll be right back. Hey, this is Jan from New York City. My channel name is Jan from New York City Saves Money, and that's precisely what I did in this case. I was inspired by a really nice program. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of fun watching it. And once in a great while, I may order things for people, like let's say near Christmas time or whatever. But I do have a certain limit on certain things that I personally wouldn't think of considering making a purchase on. But that's okay, because it's like my choice. If others can like deal with that in their spending plan, that's great. But I have specific savings goals that just will not have room in it to have the luxury or silliness, in my opinion, of purchasing a crumb cake for X number of dollars. And some people actually pay an easy payment plan. That's just my opinion. It doesn't mean, it's the rule of law. It's just my opinion. It might be the rule of law for Jan, put it that way. But look behind me. Does that little square of crumb cake not look good to you? And what I did, it actually only took a half of box of the yellow cake mix, the one that I talk about, the one that you see the picture of on the thumbnail. Okay, half a box. And I like working with my 8x8 pan. So I'm going to give you the recipe. The crumbs, you do your own thing, because the crumbs were okay, but because I take mine with less sugar in it on purpose, I don't recommend that for everybody, but I have acquired a taste for things with less sugar in it. So therefore, I'm not going to give you that crumb recipe. But golly gee, you guys sent so many wonderful crumb topping recipes recently. Thank you so much. So you could use that, your favorite, on the top, or just look it up somewhere. Okay. So making a long story short, half a box of the cake mix, yellow, from that wonderful company that begins with letter D. No, this is not a sponsored ad. Just saying. I used 2 eggs in this case. 2 eggs, half a box of cake mix, half a cup of water, 3 capfuls of oil, period. All I did was put that all together, and I actually mixed it together in this like little small stainless steel mixing bowl. And I didn't even take out my hand mixer, but if you like to, you can. I just took my spoon and I just, my fork and spoon, and I just like literally did about 400 turns on it. And then I let it sit, because you don't want to overbeat cake mixes, because then the glutens are released and you get a tough cake. So if you do it by hand or by mixer, whatever, that's what you do. You guys are so experienced. I know that you know what you're doing. In the meantime, I'm heating up my oven at 350. And you can coat the bottom of your 8x8 with margarine or butter. To make life easier, all I did was take my baking spray. So I sprayed it. And that was it. I put in the batter, threw on my crust. Oh, but I have to tell you something. If you make the crust, okay, the crumbs will sink in a little, but that's okay. So you're going to see this. Let me just move this over again. You see how it infiltrates in the middle of the cake, which is kind of neat. Some of the crumbs land on the top, and some of the crumbs actually formulate inside the cake. So you're getting a bite of the crumb in your cake, which is kind of cool, actually. I kind of like that. That's it. And I just baked that off for, I believe it was, in my case, 21 or 25 minutes. Follow package direction. Okay, so if you work with a half a box of cake mix, you follow the direction that would require for 12 things of cupcakes, for example. That direction. I believe usually it's about 24 minutes, but check the box. Okay, I don't want to give you wrong information. So having said that, I didn't spend $49.95. I didn't opt for an easy payment plan. I got the crumb cake thing out of my system. And yes, shockingly, excuse me, moist yellow cake mix does work well, in my opinion, with these crumbs. Because there's a fancy crumb cake. Well, it's not fancy, it's a national brand. I don't know why I said fancy. It's a regular one, very popular. Notice that their cake is quite moist. So it's like a takeoff on that idea. So it's really, really quite good. And I hope that you follow this. Now I'm going to switch gears. Recently, we were talking about how the number one reason why people eat out is because they dislike doing the dishes. Let's talk about paper plates for a second. Some people, to me, there's like a little controversy about it. Some people are for it. Some people are against it. Why would someone be against having some paper plates? And actually, I go the next level. If you're going to get the paper plates, get the better ones that go on sale. And they begin with letter C. And they're almost like a cardboard feel. And now, why would I want that? I'll tell you specifically why. One of the reasons why a lot of people don't like to make things, let's say, like saucy dishes, like the lasagnas, the baked ziti. Have you ever had a dinner party or just a casual party and you're cleaning up all sorts of greasy, saucy mess? And then you say to yourself, oh, I really should have done this with paper plates. True. There are paper plates and there are paper plates. I highly recommend, as an investment, as a savings, this is my opinion, but I recommend it, go for the better quality paper plates. Now, sometimes you get lucky. There's one that has, like I said, that has almost a cardboard kind of feel, but they are super absorbent. They work perfectly if you have like lasagna, baked ziti, or something that's like gooey, ooey, saucy. Those are the things that drive people crazy when they're cleaning up. Think about that for a minute. So I rather go for a little bit more money and get those. Now, let's say you're having just a sandwich on there, on the very good quality paper plate. Don't just get rid of that paper plate. Excuse me, please. Don't just get rid of that paper plate. What you do is you just shake the crumbs off, because more than likely it's just a couple of crumbs and that's it. So if it's just like crumbs on there, breadcrumbs on there, just shake it off, wipe it off, use it again later. Yes, it's been known to happen. Obviously, if you have ooey gooey saucy stuff, you're not going to do that. So I'm curious to know, my allergies are acting up. Please forgive me. I'm curious to know, in your honest opinion, let me know in the description box below, in a comment section, I should say. Let me know, how do you feel about paper goods? Do you believe in them? Do you buy them? Do you think they're wasteful? And if you do buy them, what type do you get? The lesser quality, the better quality? What's your feeling, your opinion on it? Years ago, I used to always say, when I was first budgeting, when I was very young, I used to get angry at all the times that we had to use paper goods and discard them. And I used to say, what a waste, what a waste, what a waste. But not really. If it stops a person from eating out, then it is totally not a waste. If you have company and you're cooking sloppy food, it saves on your cleanup. So in a way, it's an investment, and in a way, it's a savings, in my opinion. But I'd love to know your opinion. There you go. In the meantime, this has been Jan from New York City. Thank you very much for viewing. Why? Because I really do appreciate you. Don't forget to come back in the future for some more savings, tips, tricks, discussions, and all that jazz. I'll close out the show, and I'll be back with a wave. Be right back. Have an amazing, fantastic day. Take good care now. Bye-bye. Oh, here we go again.